How's it going, everyone? It's Hydro, Wormware, and today, in my first ever build video, we'll be going over my ranged Hybrid Sorc for the Update 41 Science of Ithelia patch. We'll be going over the sets, we'll be going over the skills, the character sheet, everything you need to know in order to be as good as I am. And as we all know, I'm pretty good. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is our character sheet, race, buffs, consumables, everything of the like. So, first things first, we are a Breton. Let's go down to that. So, it just gives us some max mag, spell resistance, magic recovery, and reduced mag cost. It's a very good race for magic overall, and I think it's the best open world mag race, especially on Sorc this patch. We will be a stage 3 vampire, only for the undeath passive, which is mandatory. You must run it. If you're not running it, you're throwing, and that's just the fact of the matter. Undeath is really good. Gets up to 30% missing, 30% mitigation based on your missing health. So you're 30% tankier when you're low, which is when you need to be healing the most and reducing those damage against you. So it's very good. Definitely use it. Otherwise, you're throwing. For our food, we're going to be running Bewitched Sugar Skulls. Sugar Skulls gives like 4k max health, 3600 max mag and stam, and like 400 health recovery, but you don't need to worry about that. Health recovery is stupid anyway. It's just gives us a lot of max health to be tanky, and then our max main resources for things like roll, dodge, block. Our shield scale off of our max magicka, so that's really good. We're very much in a max resource build this patch, so make sure to take advantage of Sugar Skulls. For our Mundus Stone, we are running the Lover. The Lover is my favorite Mundus Stone in the build because it gives like 4k penetration, and that's a lot of penetration, especially since we're running Charged over Sharpened on our front bar, which we'll get to in a minute. There are some other options. You can run the Shadow for crit damage. You can run Thief for crit chance. Thief might be really good for the extra crit chance because our crit chance may feel a little low at times if we're not keeping our buffs up, but I digress. Some people will say the Mage is good because max magicka is always good and increase our healing, our damage a little bit. Yeah, it's usable. I'm just on the Lover right now. I like the Lover. For our attributes, we're going to be running 64 points into magicka. We just need as much max mag as we can get, and that's about it. For our unbuffed character sheets, this is with no buffs. We have 43k max mag, 26k max health, 19k max stam. All of this is going to go up by at least 3k. Our magic recovery and stamina recovery seems a little low with 1200 magic recovery and 900 stamina recovery, but these will be increased by our item sets, as well as we have some skills really nice for sustain. Our weapon and spell damage is about 3100 unbuffed, not too bad. Our spell crit goes up to about 30% with Major Prophecy and Minor Prophecy, so it's very nice. Our spell pen and physical pen is about 7k. Relatively good, especially if we're going to be applying our Major Breach to a target, and we have access to Minor Breach in some scenarios, as well as 100 extra or 1000 extra armor penetration. So we'll be sitting around like 15k pen, somewhat. Should be pretty good. Our spell resistance and physical resistance. Our spell resistance is a little bit higher because we are a Breton, as I mentioned before. Spell resistance is about 27k, and physical is about 24k. These are actually really unique for a couple reasons, and I will get to that once we get to the skills. So as for the item sets, our first item set is Druggerkin. We're going to be running a Lightning Staff in Charged. This is really important because Druggerkin gives us 2-piece max mag, 3-piece offensive penetration, and 4-piece magic recovery, which is alright, but our 5th piece increases our damage done by 330, but reduces our healing received by 10%. So this build especially leans into small, minute instances of damage, and gets a lot of them, so that the Druggerkin buffs as many damage instances as possible, and increases our damage so much. Druggerkin is so much pressure, especially on this build. This, if you're fighting, like, let's say, like a little bit of a less tanky target, like a Ganged Blade, or like maybe somebody who's just getting into PvP for the first time, you will literally one-shot them with this amount of damage. I have been in dueling tournaments with friends of mine and people who I know are really good players, and I have two-shot them with this build. It is absolutely insane the amount of pressure that this gives, and it's only better in Update 41 with the increased stats effects damage. So we are only on the up and up with this build. Every single facet of this build has been buffed this patch, so it is very, very important that we run a lightning staff in charged. The enchantment can be whatever you want. I like disease because it reduces the healing received of your target by 6%, and it just does extra disease damage. So it's an extra status effect to proc. And for our back bar set, we're going to be running Wretched Vitality. I run a Restoration Staff in defending. I like Restoration Staff because of the ultimate and some of like the passives for healing. It's very good. I run defending because defending is better than powered in my opinion, especially on certain classes, because defending mitigates damage before you can take it, whereas powered gives you the opportunity to heal up damage. So if I were to take damage and then I have the opportunity to heal it up from powered, that's one thing. But with defending, I don't take as much damage, meaning I don't have to actually heal it, giving us another like global cooldown or so to do damage, because your opponent can't do damage if they're dead. So if they're dead before they can do damage to you, then you don't have to heal it up. So I just take defending in those scenarios. It's just, it also makes my back bar look really nice, because it's got like what, 30k resistances? Oh, I'm on the front bar. Oops. Back bar. 30k spell, 27k physical. It's real nice. Real nice. As for the weapon damage enchant, just buffs the damage on our front bar and then like one healing skill on the back bar. So it's like, it's alright. You can run like an absorb bag, absorb stab, whatever you need. I just found this was like the only one that I really kind of needed, I guess. Everything else was like, alright, sure I could run it, but I like this. So as for the 5-piece itself, so the 2 through 3 piece is mag and stam recovery, 130 of each respectively, and then the 4 piece is 130 weapon and spell damage, which it's alright, but like nothing to write home about. And then the 5 piece, while in combat, applying a major buff or debuff, grants you 260 magic and stamina recovery for 15 seconds, and a minor buff or debuff gives you 130 magic and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. If you're rotating the build properly, these buffs should always be up, so you don't have to worry about uptimes on those, and they give a metric fuck ton of sustain. This set is completely overtuned. It's so strong, right? Because we're sitting at 2100 mag recovery and like 1500 stam recovery fully buffed. That is a lot of recovery, especially because we're not even considering other sources of recovery that we have, like power overload or energy overload or dark conversion. So this set is absolutely fucking bonkers. I don't like to run it because I don't like to run really overtuned sets. I mean, I'm running Jogger again, but like that's besides the point. I don't know. It's good. You should slot it. As for our monster set, I'm running Mighty Chuden. Mighty Chuden is a really good monster set because it gives us a skill slot for free, essentially. So the 1 piece adds 1500 armor. Like I was saying about defending, armor is always good. The 2 piece gives 1200 maximum health, which is also really good. Health increases are always good for PvP because the more damage your opponent actually has to get through to deal damage to you. Like if I said, if you're max health, like you have a bar of max health, right? The more max health you have, the more instances of damage they need to actually break through the resistances and take down that health. It just adds a whole lot more that your opponent has to do to actually kill you. So I like max health increases. And then the other 2 piece, you gain major resolve at all times, increasing your physical and spell resistance by about 6k. This is really good because it saves a skill slot for another skill that we can run, which I have here. Bound Aegis is what I slot there, which increases our max magic by 8% and give us minor protection and minor resolve at all times, which we'll get to later. We'll explain more in depth. But essentially, I am able to keep up my spell resistance and physical resistance, major and minor resolve at all times without doing anything. So you could just be sitting there doing nothing, eating a fucking bagel or whatever, and some 1vx gank blade rocks up to you with their snipe build. They think they're so cool because you don't see the armor buff on, so they think it's gonna be an easy gank. They come up to you, they try to gank you, whoops, you have 30k spell resistance, and now turn and burn them because fuck them night blades, you know. Sorc gang. It's just, it's really nice, because people don't expect you to have so much armor. You just do, and it's just, it works. It just works. As for any meta 5-5-2-1-1 setup, we are running a trading piece, the extra 1500 max health. It's very nice. And as for like the weights on the armor, I run 2 heavy chest and heavy legs. The chest must be heavy, and the chest must be heavy and reinforced. That is must be. Must be. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Heavy chest. I like to put my trading piece here because it's just easy. It gives us 1500 max health on a chest. It's nice. Easiest to gold out. So it's a good investment there. I like to put reinforced on all of my heavy pieces, and I'm only running 2 here, so heavy legs. You can run heavy feet, heavy shoulders, or heavy head as well, because they all give like the same armor stats. You should never put heavy or light on sash or hands, on waist or hands. Just it gives less overall resistances. It's not very min-max. So put it on legs, shoulders, head, or legs, shoulders, head, or feet if you need an extra piece, but your first heavy piece should always be on the chest. Everything else I like to put divines on, because that's just what I prefer. Gives me 2k extra penetration from the lever, because we're getting like 45%-ish from all of our divines, versus if I were to run 6 impen, I would be getting like 10% crit resist. So I weighed that in my mind. I prefer the 2000 pen over the 10% crit resist. You could be different. It's fine. Everybody plays a little bit differently. As for the other weights, I run 4 medium. So medium feet, hands, shoulders, and head, and a light waist, just to get our full Undaunted passive. For the jewelry, I'm running 3 arcane on all the jewelry pieces, and I'm running a weapon and spell damage enchant on 2 of the pieces, and the last piece I'm running a magic enchant, just for fuck's sake. Like, I like it. I don't know, even though we have really, really good sustain, I like having 1 magic recovery. I'm just weird, I guess. I don't know. You can slot whatever enchant you want there. Everything could possibly work. So for the mythic on the build, because we're 5-5-2-1-1, we get Death Dealer's Fate. So Death Dealer's Fate gives persistent stack of escalating fate every 2 seconds while you're in combat, up to 30 stacks max. God damn, I can't speak English. Each stack of escalating fate increases your maximum stamina, health, and magicka by 88, and you lose a stack of escalating fate every 4 seconds you are out of combat. So while you're in combat for a minute, for 60 seconds, you will get like 3k of all of your max resources, which is really, really nice because we are a max magicka build, which is why all of our enchants are max magicka, which I didn't mention before, but I should have. And it increases our damage, increases our healing with the max magicka, increases our shield size, which I'll touch on later, and the health, like I was saying before about health, bigger health pool, more your opponent has to shoot through. Stamina, more you can block. Just make yourself as tanky as possible, more you can roll dodge. Block the Donnie, block the leap, block the bow proc. What are they going to do? Stun you? Well, actually, that is exactly what they're going to do, because they're unblockable stuns, but that's besides the point. Right? You just get more max resources. It's really stat dense, and you should absolutely run it on your Sorc. Now we're going to get into the skills. So our first skill is Streak. Streak is the Mag Sorc staple. You zoop forward, gain some distance, you do some shock damage, and you stun unblockably. So a very good skill. Very good for kiting out enemies, for using line of sight. It's a wonderful skill, and you should absolutely run it. Here is Crushing Shock. This is our main spammable for the build. Let me actually go down here to where the dummy is. So Crushing Shock is really good because A, Sorc doesn't have a good mag spammable, so this is what we have to use. B, it does good damage. It does like 9k damage for Flame Frost and Shock on this tooltip. 3, it does Flame Frost and Shock damage, allowing us to proc Flame Frost and Shock defense effects. 4, since Flame Frost and Shock damage are all individual, it's not like 9k damage, it's 3k Flame, 3k Frost, and 3k Shock. We actually benefit from 3 instances of Druggerkin. That is essentially how this build works, right? We are trying to get as many instances of damage to proc as many instances of Druggerkin as possible, and allowing us to do big damage, right? If I were to hit the dummy here, you see how many different numbers popped up above the dummy's head? that is how many instances of Drunken King we're proccing, which gives us 330 per instance of damage. It is very, very good. Especially since status effects are buff this patch, do more damage. We get 330 on Flame, Frost, and Shock, and then 330 on Burning, Chilled, Concussed. It's a lot. It's really, really good. Really, really high pressure. I think I said it in this take, but I'm going to say it again anyway. I have dueled some really, really good players, and this just, like, there's so much damage in this little, like, 2 combo that you're able to 2-shot some random-ass people, right? I've 2-shot really good players with just light attacks, and this combo is just, without even using, like, Curse, which we'll touch on in a second. So, it is really, really strong. So, our next skill is Elemental Susceptibility, Elisos. This is our source of Major Breach, right? Gives us 6k physical and spell penetration. Very, very good. Just lets us shred through our opponent's armor. And every 7.5 seconds, you afflict the enemy with Burning, Chill, Concuss. So, like I was saying earlier, 330 per Burning, Chill, Concuss. It's just extra sources of that. See, we're getting the Burning, Chill, Concuss damage, and then the 330 on top of that. Like, my debuff is dealing 3k crits at times. 3,500. 3,500 damage on one small instant of a debuff. Like, goddamn. Goddamn. Then we have Crystal Weapon. This is what I like to call our semi-spammable. So we have our spammable in Crushing Shock, and then our semi-spammable in Crystal Weapon. So you cast a skill, and it augments your next 2 light attacks. The next light attack that you cast first. So the first light attack after casting the skill deals big damage, right? Deals unbuffed 8,800 physical damage. The second hit deals like half of that. So you really try to want to get the first hit as much as possible. So even though, like, you can cast a skill and it hits twice, just recast it again after once. It makes a difference. So this skill will also give another 1,000 penetration, which is really nice. It is physical damage, which procs the physical status effect Sundered, which gives us 100 weapon and spell damage, and I believe the chance for Minor Breach. I might be wrong on that. Just don't take my word for that. Just maybe Minor Breach. I don't remember for the patch notes. I should know that, but I don't. I will probably update with text on the screen right now as to whether or not that's true. So this gives us 2 instances of damage. One from the Sundered, and the other one from the physical damage, which is another 660 Drunken King, which is really nice to do. Gives you 1,000 pen. It's good. So the way that we weave this is we cast it, and then we cast a light attack, and our spammable, which should give a whole lot of different instances of damage, which is how we get so many numbers, because we have the Crystal Weapon proccing, Sundered stack proccing, Sundered status effect proccing, right? That's 2. Then we have Flame, Frost, Shock, 3, so that's 5, and then we have Burning, Chill, Concussed. If we don't, it's not guaranteed, but like Charge makes it really, really easy. Like if you look, like I'm proccing Burning there. There's a Chilled. Can I just not proc Concuss? Like generally, like if you're looking at the status effects, the uptimes on these are generally really good, especially in combination with Elisos. These uptimes are going to be like 75% minimum if you're playing the build correctly. So it's really nice to have. So we're getting 3. Okay, wait. I have to do my math again. So we have 2 from Crystal Weapon, right? 1, 2, and then 3 from Crushing Shock. That's 5. Plus another 6. No, plus another 3. Oh God. Elementary school math. It's so hard. 2 from Crystal Weapon, 3 from Crushing Shock, another 3 from Crushing Shock, giving us 8. Then we have our light attack, right, which is 9. Then we have our disease enchant, which is 10, plus the disease status effect, which is 11. And then we have our curse hitting, which is 12, plus the overcharge status effect hits, which is 13. And then energy overload, which is, I believe this can proc a status effect, which would then be 14. So 14 instances of Draugr. Let me get my calculator real quick and see how much damage that actually is. 330 times 14. That's 4,000 damage for free in one global cooldown if everything hits correctly. So it will look something like this on the target. So many numbers, and then you just follow it up with more attacks. Like, just see how many numbers are just hitting. It's insane. Very, very good. So then we get the Haunting Curse. This is our main delayed burst on Sorc. Every class has a main delayed burst. This just happens to be Sorc. You cast it on the enemy, wait for it to explode. It explodes for big damage after 3.5 seconds, and then it'll explode again after another 8.5 seconds. This skill is really useful for taking Nightblades out of stealth. So if there's a Nightblade that comes up to you, they gank you, they don't see you have big resistances, and then they try to run away like a little pussy that they are, because they pick Nightblade, they're going to go stealth, right? You can streak, take them out of stealth, and then turn as you streak, or you can use like a 180 streak for your PC players. I'm on a controller right now, so it's tough. But you streak, turn around, curse them, so that they can't go back into stealth, and then, well, they can go back into stealth, but as soon as the curse hits, they come out. So the curse hits, and then the curse hits again, and then you streak them again because the stun cooldown's down, and then you curse them. This is the bait of Nightblades, essentially, this build. They will never be able to stealth with you around. And we're not even running detect pots or like Inner Light or Camo Hunter, like things that are just designed to take them out of stealth. This just does it because we're that good. Energy Overload is our ultimate. This ultimate works not the way that other ultimates do. Other ultimates, you cast them, and then your ultimate goes down to 0, and then you have to build another one up. This one is a toggle. So you cast it, and you turn it on. And then you can use your light attacks or heavy attacks. Don't heavy attack, only light attack. You use your light attacks, and it depletes ultimate until you're out. Right, instead of pressing a button, and then all the ultimate's gone. So this ultimate does a lot of damage, right? It's like a 10,000 damage per light attack, which is like triple what light attacks are doing right now, which is really, really good. As well as it does 1,000. It restores 1,200 magic and stamina. So if I'm out of mag, like let's say I'm kiting some really, really fucking good DKs or whatever, and I'm out of mag, I can just hit overload a few times and fill that baby up. And I don't even have to hit the target. I just have to cast it. Like, it's kind of crazy. There is a really nice champion point that goes with this, which we'll talk about more depth later. It was Weapons Expert. Increases the damage of your... Oh, I turned it off. Increases the damage of your light and heavy attacks by 20%. Since Overload is technically considered a light attack, that is 20% more damage from that 1 CP. I think that's counted in the tooltip. Let me triple check. Wait, confirm. Fuck. Skills. No, it's not. So this actually just does 2,000 more damage for free because reasons. Because of the CP. It's very, very strong. If you're going to use Overload, you must be using that CP. Simple fact of that. As for the back bar, on our Restoration stat bar, we're going to be running Resolving Vigor. This is the best heal over time of the game. 20k over 5 seconds, really good. It also gives a minor resolve, but we don't care about that since we have permanent minor resolve from the skill we'll talk about later. So our hots are there to top our health off. So if we're at like 75% health, you cast a hot. If we're under that, you cast a burst heal. Right? Burst heal fills it up, hots top them off. That's generally how it goes. Dark Conversion, this is our utility skill. So you can restore like 11k health and like 4,500 magic instantly, and another 3,000 magic over 20 seconds, just for casting skill. So we turn, like let's just cast a whole bunch of mag skills. We turn our unused stamina bar into magicka. Really good for resource shit. Like if I'm kiting, cast this a few times, get my magicka up, then cast Overload, and hit it a few times, get my stamina up, and we're back to full. Plus Wretched, like crazy. Absolutely crazy. Huge sustain. It's really, really nice. It also gives Minor Berserk for 20 seconds, which increases your damage down by 5%, so it's a good buff to keep up. What else about it? This has a 1-second cast time. So if you see I cast my shield, it immediately goes off. Cast my vigor, immediately goes off. If I cast this, though, however, it takes a second before the heal actually kicks in. So if you're kiting and you need to heal and you're trying to use this, you could get stunned out of this and just killed, where other classes press their coag and then immediately heal back to full. But we actually do have something new this patch to answer that. Hardened Ward. Hardened Ward has been a staple on Magsorc for years. This is your best defensive utility, and it scales off your max mag, which is why we have such high max mag on this build. So Hardened Ward actually now heals based off of your max mag or max health. So since we're running such high max mag, we actually heal with this skill round. For like 7.5k on buff, that's pretty good. Right? And we can even, like, if we know that we're not going to get hit, like we're behind something, you can even combo these heals to heal together. So, since Dark Conversion heals after a second, and Hardened Ward heals instantly, you cast Dark Conversion, and then you cast Ward, big burst heal. Essentially, that is your entire health bar going back up, I promise you. And then you cast Vigor to top yourself off, and you're back to full. Back to full. But you won't be using Dark Conversion as a burst heal like we were in the past, because we have Hardened Ward now. You will still use it sometimes for healing, but Hardened Ward is going to be your main burst heal if you can keep it up. On the back bar as well, we have Crit Surge. Crit Surge is our Major Brutality and Sorcery buff, which just increases our weapon spell damage by 20% for 32 seconds, which is really, really nice. And then while active, dealing critical damage heals you for like 3,600, 3,700, and it can occur once every 1 second. So if I'm doing this, I'm hitting the target. Every time there's a yellow number above its head, like that, you'll see healing actually come into my character. Or maybe you won't, because I don't have the thing on, but whatever. It will heal. It does heal. It's useful. This is one of 2 Sorc healing over time from damages. The other healing over time actually comes from Blood Magic in the Dark Magic skill tree. So when you hit an enemy with a directly applied Dark Magic ability, you heal for 3,000 health, and it scales off your max health. So that happens with Crystal Weapon. So every time you hit an enemy with Crystal Weapon, bop, healing. It's very, very useful. It's very nice. So as long as you're staying offensive with these 2 buffs up, you'll just see healing coming in. Very good for healing over time, and just increases your overall tankiness as a damage dealer, which is very, very good. Last skill on the back bar, or active skill at least, is Bad Aegis, which you cast and increases your block mitigation by 40%, which, as I mentioned earlier, does not affect you if you have a shield up. If your shield is up, block mitigation is meaningless. So you don't really want to... There are niche situations where you'll cast a skill, but generally you don't really need to cast it. We're using it for its passive buffs. So it gives 8% max magicka, which is 8% more... a bigger shield and more healing on the shield, which is really nice, which is what we mainly slot it for. As well as you gain Minor Resolve and Minor Protection at all times. So like I was saying before about the Nightblade, you have Minor Protection at all times. You don't need to keep it up with the skill. So if you're just dawdling, doing nothing, you will have Minor Resolve up, as well as you get Minor Protection, which increases or reduces your damage taken by 5%. That's free 5% mitigation. It's really nice. For our back bar ultimate, we're running Light Champ. So this is our, oh shit, I'm getting pressured, let me cast it ultimate. It does a lot of health over 5 seconds, like 11k heal per tick for over 5 seconds. Really good. It's good. You can shield and then cast it, and then big health coming back into you, as well as you get minor force for 8 seconds if you got healed by it. So this is our turn and burn ultimate. Like, if this skeleton was coming to attack me and I was taking big pressure from him, I kite around the pillar, I cast his ultimate, and then I'm able to turn around and burn him. So instead of running away, I turn and burn him. He just fucking dies, because minor force gives us 20% extra crit damage, and our crit damage right now is sitting at like 16%, so that's 36% extra damage on our crits. That's like 86% damage from, like, augmented from our just regular skill. from our tooltip. So like imagine Curse, 12k mag damage, doing 86% more damage because it had a 33 in 10 chance to crit. It's really nice, really nice. I like it, and that's pretty much it for the skills. And we're gonna go over 2 more things. Potions. So the potion that I use is the Alliance Spell Drop because it gives mag immediately, as well as Major Intellect, which increases our mag recovery by 30% for 47 seconds, as well as it gives Major Prophecy, which increases our crit percentage. So since Sorc has Minor Prophecy in it, our crit percentage sits around 30%. It's very nice. I like it. You should also have tripods available in case you need emergency stamina or health. You can use either one. I just like this because it gives me higher crit chance, meaning I get more healing from critical surge. So it's just it fits. It's like poetry. They rhyme. Anyway, the last thing we're going to talk about is the CP. Green CP doesn't matter. Blue CP, we're running Fighting Finesse for 8% crit damage and healing. It's nice. 10% healing done from Focus Mending is actually really nice. Like, it's an extra 1,000 healing on something or whatever. It's very padded. Very nice. You can run something like Ironclad there for damage reduction. I like this over Ironclad, which is against what I said before about defending, because this is a higher percentage and it's just so much more than Ironclad and just keeps our heals up, which makes me I find I'm tankier with Focus Mending than I am Ironclad. Weapons Expert, like I said before, buffs Overload so much. You must run it. It is a must run if you're running Overload. And then Arcane Supremacy, just to increase the size of our shields a little bit. As for the red CP, we're running Bastion. Bastion is mandatory. You must run it. It's very, very good. It increases the effectiveness of your damage shields and damage done against shielded enemies by 3% per stage for a total of 15%. So essentially, your damage shields are 50% stronger, meaning your enemies have to rip through 15% more. It's very good. As well as it gives you 50% damage bonus against shielded targets. So other mag sorcs, 15% more damage on them. Arcanists, 15% more damage. A DK that just leapt you, 15% more damage. It's really good. You should really take it. Survival Instincts. While effective with the status effects, your core combat abilities cost 5% less per stage. Generally, we're just thinking of like block and roll dodge. Cost 25% less. And that's so good. That's so overtuned. Like, you just block for infinity. Well, NSS, this is your flex CP. You don't need to run it, but I like it. So being stunned or field causes you to gain major protection for 3 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 10%. I find it's a free 10% because good players, when they try to burst you, essentially, usually use a CC in their burst combo. They stun. So having 10% when the enemy is dumping all their damage into you is really, really nice. Final CP is Pain's Refuge. It's really nice outnumbered. It reduces your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects active on you, up to a maximum of 20%. So the more people you have hitting on you, the more reduction you get. It's very nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the build video. It is my first one, so critiques are welcome. Please critique the fuck out of me. I want to see what I did wrong, so I can give a better experience for you guys. Because it is about you guys, right? It's not about me. Said every narcissist ever. Sure. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more, let me know. If you want me to cover another class, another build, playstyle, please just tell me. Any questions you have, tell me in the comments. Hit me up on Discord. Whatever works. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.